welcome to another episode on traveling. Today I'm here with my good friend Mario from Tirana, Albania. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about the history of Albania and how to have a good experience when you travel to Albania. Quick little backstory. I met Mario over a year ago, and we met in a hostel in Spain, and this is when we first met. He taught me about the eagle, and he told me all about Albania and how he recommended me to go visit there. And maybe like 2 or 3 months later, I messaged him and I was like, yo, I got some free time. I might go to Albania. Do you want to come? He was unfortunately not able to, but he was like, my family has a guest house there. Like, hit him up. You should go stay with them. So I went and stayed with some of his cousins and family in Tirana, Albania, and it was an amazing experience. So let's get into it, and welcome and thank you, Mario, for joining us.
Hey Joe, thank you very much for the invitation, man. I'm very happy to be talking and sharing the Albania experience, let's say. I don't know if many people are informed about Albania, about tourism there and things like that, but it's absolutely a gem that nobody has to miss. I'm sure that you also were like a bit surprised from what you found there. I don't know what were your expectations or what people's expectations are, but I'm very, very happy that I achieved to make one more person go visit Albania because of me. You know, it's a win for me. Yeah. Because I do love Albanians, nature, and the culture and everything, you know. Yeah. And it was a really big win. Thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you for visiting Albania, man.
It was amazing. I was so happy I did. Like, if it wasn't for you, I had heard of Albania and stuff, but I couldn't have even pointed to it on the map before I met you. And then you told me about it, and I was like, I'm sold. I'm going. And it was one of the best weeks of my whole time in Europe. So before we get into having a good experience in Albania, tell us a little bit about where you grew up and what the experience was like growing up in Albania.
So I grew up in the capital. I was born and grown in capital Tirana. I was lucky to be living in the center of it. I was born in 95, which were very delicate years. And it was just after in the 90s when the communism ended. And like the transition years are always the hardest, the poorest in a country. And how I grew up was in small neighborhoods, very, very friendly environment, very much love shared because as we know, communism was all about that, like warm people, neighbors, even though the poverty made people just like be closer to each other. And I was still in the say age of the playing on the roads and I don't know, getting scratches all over the body because of falling on the roads and getting dirty and like enjoying it the real way. Absolutely not an idea about electronics at the time. And I'm very happy actually that I grew that way. It has formed me. It has made me also learn to get things, say, the hard way, but not in a bad meaning, you know, to also be used to not having what you want because of, as I said, the situation back in the time wasn't so economically friendly. Right. Our parents, I'm the youngest of the family. I have a older sister and brother. They're like for a big difference. So I was like, they were all taking care of me. I didn't go through the hardest part. But yeah, back to when I grew up, times were hard. But now Albania has started to grow, and each year I was experiencing like the development of the country. So let's say I grew up good, you know, learning a lot of things from hard experiences or from sacrifices that you have to do in the society because of the, say, economical situation there.
Right. And can you give us a little brief history? Because prior to visiting the House of Leaves and Bunk Art 1 and Bunk Art 2, I didn't even really know much about the history of Albania. Can you tell us a little bit about what it was like prior to 1991?
So prior to 1991, it was the communism time. Albania's communism is well known as like the very meanest or like hardest communism that Europe has seen. Actually, it's compared to like, I don't know, North Korea's now communism is compared to it. The regime was so hard on people that there is a point in Albania by the beach where the distance between the Italy is 50 kilometers, and sometimes you could even catch the radio stations from there. But if they say found that out, your family would be interned, and in a worst case, like the person would be killed as a decision taken from the people. You know, this is what they use as an excuse. Like the people's decision is you are punished with death, and then your family taken to a very deep village. The communism kept the people very ignorant. Unfortunately, education was very good, but say scientifically, and that's it. They would not give information about history of other places or situation about how life is in the world. It was very extreme, the very blocked. So I think that kept that left Albania in a place and even took it many steps back. But also Albania's history is very comes dates very long time ago. We still have cities there who are 2,400 years still standing, inhabited. You know, the city of Berat, if you heard of it, the city of one on top of one windows is called differently, and it's very pretty. And then we are very rich in culture actually and history. Um, Dating so long ago, it was one of the main civilizations on the Mediterranean, next to Greece and Italy. Our language too is like a special branch in the language tree, and this is like some things we're mostly proud of. Then we had, as every other history, a lot of kings, a lot of wars, but mostly say uh, defending ourselves because the other powers were much bigger. And the big part of our history is the 500 years into under the Ottoman Empire, which has now also affected our, say, some of the traditions, food, culture, but still we have proudly remained on our identity. This is
Amazing.
we are like proud of. We are still Albanians. We didn't get
Right.
assimilated.
Tell us a little bit about the eagle and what that represents.
So this is a two-headed eagle. You can do it easily with your hands. So these are the two heads, and these are the wings. Our flag is a red and black flag. Is a red background and a black two-headed eagle in the center. And the eagle and the red is obviously the symbol of the blood shed for the freedom, the wars and everything that the people passed. And then the eagle is the symbol of freedom. Like as we know, eagles are sharp, fast, very uh, I don't know, very strong figure of an animal. So that was our symbol from, say, back to 14th or 15th century, when they did have the emblems of the for example, George Castriot. I don't know how you would know it in English. In his family, they have the symbol of the eagle too, and I mean that's where it came from, because he's the biggest figure who was like the only one who could handle the Ottomans' attacks because of his strategies and his good skills. Then this is our symbol. How we do it with the hands is like something which doesn't offend or touch other nationalities, but is our big proud symbol. You know, I added this detail because sometimes people will take it as a provocation signs, people of some other nationalities, but this is actually just a very proud symbol of ours. Is the free eagle, and it's our most important symbol. Actually, it's in the flag and everywhere. People, you can recognize an Albanian by doing this. You know?
Yes. That was one of the first things you taught us. I remember. It was good. Cool. Yeah, the history of Albania, that was like one of my favorite parts of being there. I went on the walking tours and visited the House of Leaves and Bunker 1 and Bunker 2, and I was just amazed at the history and how I didn't even know really too much about it. But cool. Well, thanks for the little background of where you grew up and the brief history. Um, Now let's go into how to have a good experience in Albania. What are your recommendations for someone visiting?
So the best way to enjoy Albania, actually, it is part of those countries where you would want to be there with the local. That being a guide, or even better, a friend that you met, somebody who is keen on showing you. I had a few experiences when I went over to visit back home, I brought friends with me, or they came to visit me. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case with you. Otherwise, you would have never left Albania for sure.
Let's still be there.
That's the best way to know the place, by driving, by having somebody who knows where to go. It's very very recommended to avoid the touristic places, or not even touristic. Is like in the tourism from people of within Albania. You know, they can be very populated places, or you could actually miss so much. So the best way I would suggest is either get a friend who is from there, or make friends from there, and try to plan a trip together, preferably by car, because of the transport is not the best there. Say you would find buses to all the destinations you would want to, but there is no trains, for example, and it's a bit, you can't find everything so easily like you'd find, say, in Western Europe. So the best way for me is like that: get a car or organize a trip with some friends. Road trip is the best in Albania. Um, in- uh, Including that the roads, say, in the north are mountains and a lot of lack of signs maybe in some parts, so you would need somebody local the deeper you go, but the deeper you go, the more beautiful it is, the place.
Right. Well, we're gonna have to take another trip back there because 1 week was not enough for me. Um, what
Of
are
course.
what are some of your favorite places in Albania? If say I were to come with you, where are some of the places you would take me? What are some of your favorite places of the country?
So, talking about Albania, I cannot leave without mentioning Kosovo. Our history is dates from the beginning, always together. We say in 1912, when it was the day of the independence of Albania, we were one country, one big country, with us and Kosovo and some other regions. And this is a part of the history that we can never deny. But because of political reasons, we are now separate. So if we were to go to Albania, I would ask you to catch a flight to Pristina, the capital of Kosovo. We would go there and possibly get some of my friends to pick us up, because this is how we are there. It's part of our culture. Our culture. We're always there to trying to help people, or like trying to be there for the people we appreciate, and always have fun together. So we would have some more company of cool people. Visit Pristina with their amazing food and nightlife. It's very very nice. Then go down south to Prizren. It's a very old city. It's a city which borders Albania and Kosovo, and that's where most of the meetings of, like, back in the time in 20th century, most of the meetings were held, and we have many important events happening in that city. Very historical, very pretty. Then go down into Albania. The north has incredible mountains. There is this place called Valbon. There is a river there, very famous, very beautiful. There is a lake of Koman where you can do that by boat and even get the car in the ferry. And then you have another river called Lumi Shales, which is also like turquoise, crystal clear water, and like amazing views, stunning views with mountains all around the place. Then I would probably drive you down to Tirana, to the capital, and there we would have some more nightlife, some more amazing food, and city life, you know. But the best part, my favorite, is absolutely the south of Albania. The beaches there are the best. Like, people would be very familiar with Greek beaches, the turquoise, crystal clear waters, and all this kind of beauties you see online. We have it all there. But just keep in mind that you will find everything at least a lot less. I don't want to make comparisons about the price, say 2 times or 5 times less, but everything for sure will be so much cheaper than Greece or even Croatia. The northern coastline is sandy beaches, just like in Croatia, and the southern is stony, like in Greece, because the two seas, the Adriatic from Croatia and Ionian from Greece, the two seas are split right in the middle of Albania in a city called Vlora. So we are lucky for that. Then also some very beautiful sites to visit would be cities full of culture as Korcha and Shkodra. Shkodra is in the northwest, Korcha is in the southeast. Those are two of the biggest culture spots in Albania where, like, say, the first schools started and all these very important aspects of how the society or how the civilization evolved. And then also I would take you. We have everything. This is how lucky I feel about my country, because in such a small country we have mountains, beach, a lot of rivers. We have a very beautiful canyon. You guys from the States have like the biggest, most famous canyon, the Grand Canyon. So you might probably not be impressed, but I'm sure that some rafting there would be so much fun, and you would have a great time too. And I don't know, all the cities. Then we would go to Berat and Gjirokastër, which are very historical old towns. There are like I said, Berat is 2,400 years old. How can you imagine living still there? But yes, it is possible. People are still in those cities. And this is a brief preview of where I would take you to Albania. So a road trip from Kosovo down to the south of Albania, all over the place, as many
Wow.
spots.
Dude, you're making me excited right now. I'm like about to book a flight over there. What are there any best times of the year to visit there based on like weather or anything, or times to avoid? What's the weather situation like?
So luckily, we have a lot of sun there. Statistically, it's like 250 days of sun per year. But yes, there is some ideal times to visit. Say, uh, summer is the peak time. But let's do some little pros and cons. So let's say we go in there in the summer. We would like to avoid end of July and August, because of that's the peak. That's when everybody goes on holidays, and that's when, because of, say, the economy is a little bit, the government doesn't have such strong control on it. Let's say there is a little bit of price changes. It's, how economy works. There will be, you will find the same thing in end of July and August 2 or 3 times more expensive than, let's say, if we would go in end of May, June, or the best of the best is beginning of September. Everything is so cheaper. You don't have the peak. There is not everybody just in the same beach, and then you will have many private places too. Many of the bays or the tour guides that take you in these bays that are not reachable by land, you will not have them overpopulated. And also the weather is absolutely amazing. In the south of Albania, it's well known the beach to be cold, but in September, because of the summer heat, it will be warmer, more easier to swim in there and not freeze when you go out. And
Sweet.
so September would be the perfect for me. That's when, say, you would enjoy the city life too, because people go back to the normal life. Say school and university start, and I would definitely recommend September, May, June. Also, July and August is amazing, but then you would have to face the peak, and, like, say, the price would be up, from the buses to the hotels to everything.
Right. Yeah, I think I was there in June or July, and everything seems so cheap, especially coming from Eastern Europe. I was like, holy moly, this is amazing. Um, are there any local or traditional foods or drinks that you would recommend for somebody, or what are some of your favorites?
So many. I'm the kind of person who, when I go traveling, what I'm most interested in is food and people and locals, say culture. And food there is just the best for me. My favorite is also because I've been grown with that. But you could notice a big difference between say Italian food or Western food and the Albanian food. We also have some combination with the Turkish one, if people are more familiar with. But I'm proud that the Albanian food is very healthy. We have our, say, pies. the pies who are typical from there.
Is that
Also,
Fergesi or Fergesa?
Forges is like the stew. Yeah, this is how you would describe it in
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah. The dip.
stew. So that's Forges is a stew. You know, we make it with our type of cheese. It's kind of crushed cheese with peppers and sauce and meat on whatever ingredients you want to put in there. But this is like the basis. And Forges is beautiful. It's so good. We have the I don't know if you tried the pie, meat pie or spinach or cheese pie. It's very very nice.
What was it
We
called? I wrote down Byrick and Kofti. Byrick?
Burek.
Correct. Ah, yeah, I had it.
Yes, burek is beautiful, man. I really love that food. So when I go there, basically first things I just go to the shop next to mine. Is a small shop that makes it homemade, fresh. I order a couple of bureks, and then I feel like I'm back home finally. Also, you have the chofte. That is more like that is meaty. It's prepared with minced meat. It's there is a lot of restaurants who make homemade chofte. They are very very nice. This is the best thing about there. I think that we still have these values of fresh food and healthy food. You know,
Hmm.
we it's not in our culture to eat say frozen food or like to freeze food for a long time or to buy in the supermarkets frozen food. This is why when I came in Western Europe, I was like a little bit like, whoa, you know, a lot of food is frozen here. So, but also you could give it a try if you're into alcohol to our traditional drink called raki.
Rakia.
Try that. Yeah, that is a very strong one. You know, there's like a 70% homemade alcoholic drink, but it will literally clean all your say throat and all your body system. You know, it has it is very good for the heart if you have it in very small amounts, and it's traditional for Albania and say all the region of Balkans. Actually, it's
Yeah,
not because of how history was. Um, Now we have many things in similar with
right.
other countries. But
It's
yeah, this was some delicious foods to try: Ferges, burek, chofte, and much more to explore when you're there. We also have the we have very well known for the meat over there. You just have to find the right place to go have some good meat, and basically now everything is much more easier because tourism has started to grow and say the whole service industry is much more updated, so you could find whatever you'd like. But this is what you should definitely go for when you
right.
visit.
And from what I remember, isn't raki in Albania made from grapes?
Yeah, yeah.
And then in
Normally,
Bosnia, I think it was made from plums or something.
I mean, you could find plums raki in Albania too. You could find a lot of types of raki. Of
Okay,
I've heard of raki of walnuts, which was like, whoa, you know, how is that possible? But
right.
the most famous, yeah, is grapes raki. That's
Yeah,
what.
I remember drinking. Oh my God, that is the strongest thing I've ever had. Your hairs like stand up on your arms.
Oh no, yeah, it gets definitely in your head very quick. You know, you should drink. So we have this. Normally, the men back in the communism time, or say the old generation, would have their Turkish coffee and their shot of raki, but do not dare to shot it. You know, like I don't know who would make that challenge maybe in the future, but that is a bad idea. You take it by small, very small sips, and they used to have it with coffee in the morning, and it kind of hypes you a little. You know, it helps you. Obviously, 70% of alcohol.
Yeah, I definitely remember that. Um, cool. And then lastly, are there if if someone were to go and they weren't able to visit with a local or somebody familiar with Albania, is there any safety or places to be cautious of, or what's the safety like traveling in Albania if you were by yourself?
I think Albania is the safest place than most of European capitals, to be honest. I've heard many people who are skeptic about it. I used to live in England before, and I talked with many British people, and they were very skeptical about visiting Albania. Also, a lot of people from all over the world they ask me this question: is it safe or not? Um, I have not yet heard a story about somebody having such trouble from the people I've met that visit there. For me, it's super safe as long as, say, you don't look for the danger. You know, you don't go to say dark places or unpopulated places. It's like all over Europe, or let's say all over the world. Generally, it's super safe. I've gone in the south of Albania in the beaches camping, you know, and I've traveled to the mountains in the dark, and I've been alone, say, or I've heard a lot of people who have been traveling alone through it, and they're like, we cannot believe how the word out there was that, oh, maybe it's not that safe. And this goes for all the Balkan countries, you know. It's very sad to hear that sometimes people are very skeptical about the security or like safety in this, but I would definitely say that this will not be an issue in your travels.
Right.
Absolutely safe, absolutely safer than most of European capitals, and it's part of the cultures. People are just too lovely, you know. People are just
Yeah.
too friendly. Hospitality is one of our biggest, the things we're mostly proud of, and definitely you will face very few problems unless you're very unlucky or you do something wrong, or it's just
Yeah.
like, as long as you will respect the people, they will definitely respect you back, and probably they will end up inviting you for dinner over, or even if you're in trouble, sleep over at theirs, and I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
I
very,
had nothing but a good experience there. Like I said, I didn't really know too much about it beforehand, but when I got there, I experienced everything that you said about the welcoming, warm people, and I had no bad experiences. And like you said, I think it's the same in most countries. As long as you're not doing the wrong thing or in a place that you shouldn't be, like late at night, it's like it's the same in every country, I think. You just have
yeah.
to have your common sense and be aware of your surroundings, and you'll be fine. So, are there any last little tips or advice for someone that wants to visit Albania?
I just have to say that I love it when people, I hear from people that they have been there, and I love it when they give me such good reviews. And this is the part that makes me feel proud of the things that I just mentioned: our hospitality, our, say, culture and character as Albanians. We are a very big mix of very warm but also very prideful. But I think that is only values and things that people can get the best part of it. Say, if you go to visit there and you only treat people with respect and you only want to learn from them, you will not find something like, you know, Western Europe, where people, yes, they are very nice, but I don't think they are as sharing as Albania or Balkans generally.
Hmm.
I appreciate about my country and my culture a lot that we are very open about, especially foreigners. We're very keen on helping them. We're very keen on making them have the best experience in our country, and for sure, you will have the best time there. And just go and visit it. No hesitations about it.
Yes, I highly recommend Albania, and I can't wait to go back. And next time, I'm not going without you. So we're gonna have
Well,
to we're gonna have to
together.
pick a time, 1 September or something, and go back.
Yes, yes. Oh, it's gonna be my birthday too, so it's going to be. You have to keep up. You know, you have to get some training beforehand to keep up intense lifestyle there, man. It's beautiful, really. The people are beautiful. The place is beautiful, and you not only it will exceed your expectations, but surely you will go out there and talk to other people about it, as I appreciate that you are doing right now. And thank you very much for making this episode about Albania, because I feel that these small countries we have to make most publicity for, and let people know that there is actually so much more to see in this world than just the most popular countries that you hear,
Right.
you know, news and all.
It's truly a hidden gem. Well, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your experience growing up in Albania and how to have a good experience traveling to Albania.
Thank you very much for the invitation, Joey, and I hope this will be helpful for the people who watch this video. And I'm really grateful that you gave me the chance to introduce Albania from my point of view.
Yes, my pleasure. And we'll have many more travel episodes with you about all of the places you've been and all of your travel experiences.
Yes, it will be my pleasure, man. Thank you
Cool.
very much.
Take care. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.